Yours isn't cold, Elric?
It's not extra cold.
Mine says pasteurized stout. Oh, hi. It's, hey, welcome to Killer POV. We've been out of practice a little bit, so forgive us as we get back into the groove. But I'm Rob G from FEARnet and Icons of Fright, and joining me is Rebekah McKendry, Fangoria.
My Diet Coke is nice and cold.
There you go. And the man to my left
is the lukewarm Elric Kane. He gave me a Guinness, and on the Guinness bottle it says serve extra cold, and Rob G failed.
Is it like room
but it's
temp?
free.
But it's a free Guinness.
It is a free Guinness. It's amazing.
Okay. Can you drink it, Rebekah? When are you going to drink with us?
Well, tonight's not a good night. I'm pretty exhausted.
All right.
So.
All right. I'm giving you like a 1-2 week.
Okay. Next week, guys, I'm down and bruised with you the whole show. I'm shotgunning them. Somebody bring a screwdriver so I can fire them off.
Right. Well, it feels like, Rebekah emailed us earlier today. It does feel like we haven't been together for a while.
I've missed you guys. It's kind of weird.
I miss you guys
It's been a couple
too.
weeks, right? Like 3 weeks maybe?
Yeah. Well, we did the episode with Mike, but then you were out before that. And
that's really a non-episode. We're talking about Mike Williams. It's hardly like having a guest.
It's more like our living room, guys.
Yeah.
Come on.
Right. Okay. So.
And then we had the week off because it was before Comic-Con, and then. Yeah, we all went to Comic-Con, and I feel like I haven't seen you guys in forever. And I told you I missed you in a non-stalker way, but I might be lying.
It's a little stalkery.
I'm going to be kind
I
of
saw you
stalkery.
liking all my posts on Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
I don't believe that.
I like everything Rob does. Yeah. Everything.
Wow. Yeah, it was very weird. I don't know about you. Did you listen to the Comic-Con episode? Because we were played by Brian Collins. He does a good job playing.
Yeah, he's good.
I was played by Sam Zimmerman, who finally accepted my friend request after he played me on our show.
Oh, wow. You
he's
won
19?
his heart.
Yeah.
He's 19,
25,
right? Yeah, he's
but
19.
close.
19.
He's
yeah,
pre-pubescent.
25? All right.
Yeah. I always forget that, though. And I'm like, Sam, how come you're going out and partying so much? We have work in the morning. And
he's of age.
Yeah, he's of age.
He can do it. Sam actually is a really good writer. I do enjoy the stuff he does on Fango.
That's why we hired him.
There you go. But so there has been a ton of crap going on between the three of us.
Oh my gosh.
We don't have a special guest today because we wanted to kind of do a catch-up episode just with the three of us. Hope
and looking towards the future episode.
And looking towards the future, exactly.
I'm a very hopeful horror fan.
So we are going to delve into Comic-Con at some point because if you listen to the last 10 episodes, I was complaining about going. So
Rob, you did great.
I think I did all right.
You were a trooper. You missed the cool lunch, though.
What was the cool lunch?
It was me and Sam and Dave went and had lunch with Lawrence and Elise and Brian Collins, and one of the other guys from FEARnet showed up, and I didn't get his name.
Probably Chris
Chris
Connors.
I think that was it, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we'll get to that. It was the Comic-Con's just a mess. A mess of people, a mess of schedule.
It's a clusterfuck.
It is. There you go. That's exactly the word I was looking for.
Yeah, it is.
But we're going to get into what we've seen. I kind of wanted to tie it into, I wasn't allowed to talk about it, but now since it's come and gone, I've been doing a ton of Dexter related stuff. And I was really excited. Scott Reynolds, who was on our show before, and I got to do a live podcast at the New Beverly, which is our favorite theater in LA and also the theater that we met at. But that was really cool. We did our first live podcast there with Michael C. Hall. And I was terrified because I've never done a live thing, but it went off without a hitch. And Michael seemed to be really into it, and we all had a good time. And then immediately the next day after that, I went back to the New Beverly for Zombie. They were showing a print of...
Ooh, is it 35 millimeter
yes,
print of that? Oh
yeah.
my gosh.
Yeah. And it was a little faded and messed up, which is perfect because that's the way you see that movie. But that was really good. But on the way out, I bumped into another one of our previous guests, Zon Cassavetes and Taylor, were at Zombie, which I thought was awesome.
Nice. And Kiss of the Damned is releasing next week?
It just came out
this week.
Yeah,
it sucked. There was a party, like a release party, and I couldn't make it.
It was actually the Sunday of Comic-Con. Mm-hmm. I had heard about that too. Uh-huh. But it was cool, and we can talk about this. This was a few weeks ago, but the one thing Zon told me was, we've all been asking about the soundtrack because the soundtrack is really great.
Yeah.
And she's like, yes, we're doing a limited CD and vinyl release. Don't tell anyone yet, but it is on Amazon. I have pre-ordered the vinyl for Kiss of the Damned. So, you guys should check out the movie.
Cool. Hipster.
Look, I'm not, come on. I don't live in Silver Lake. Come on.
That's true. Valley Rat.
So there was that. And then otherwise, what else have I seen? What have you guys seen? What have you been up to? Because you
I have
make
seen
it to
some
Comic-Con.
stuff. Yeah, I mean, I got a little sick and been working. I saw Only God Forgives a couple days ago from the director of Drive.
Right.
It kind of comes into horror territory. The way it literally looks like it's filmed in hell because everything's red with crazy red wallpaper. But man, if drive is minimal with character development of Ryan Gosling, this thing's like he just does nothing. I mean, he hardly even makes a different facial expression. It's so withheld. It looks gorgeous. There isn't a lot going on. Though it did make me, and I tweeted this, and I know people think I was joking. I was dead serious. I thought if you were going to redo the Hellraiser world, let Nicholas Winding Refn do it, because it would be such a, between this and Fear X he made with John Turturro, and it's just totally left field art house, but there's a scene where the character basically does go to hell kind of, and it's just gorgeous, and the way he shoots it, it's with real like pathos. So I thought it would be interesting. I know the studios would never do it, but it's an interesting film. I think people who like stylish movies will dig it. I just don't know if there's really any character development whatsoever. And I like Drive a lot, but this film, I don't know. It's not fully a horror. I watched Sharknado in fast forward. Fast forward. Because it was on my DVR, and I was really sick of all the tweets. I didn't want to watch it. And then I thought, well, I'll watch the first 10 minutes. Watch the first 10 minutes. It's like, all right, it's better than, I see why people were watching it at least. I don't watch these kind of movies, especially sci-fi originals. But the first 10 minutes, dramatically was better than a lot of the sci-fi originals. Not as good as Big Ass Spider or something. But and for real, it's not. But I wanted to get to the tornado part, so I literally watched the whole film in fast forward. Would stop here and there, but the tornado stuff was actually genuinely amusing. And Ian Ziering, looked like he could actually surf. So hats off. I did not think it was a good film. And not really worthy of all the... I mean, it really was just Birdemic with sharks. I don't know, why people are so excited.
I think that the hype more lies in the fact that it's sharks in a tornado.
Yeah, and they do deliver that constantly throughout. Yeah. So I think if you're into the sci-fi originals, this is probably the best they've ever done. But it's just not my bag. And I think I only really watched it because we were going to do the show. Like it was the night before. I was like, I'm curious to watch this. But I did see something, and I'm going to put it. This is going to surprise people, and they might disagree. This is my surprise of the year. Of all the films I've seen this year, I had been wanting to see it for a long time. Because it didn't get a good release, I assumed it was crap. I'm a huge Jeff Combs fan. Anyone who knows me, but I never give his films a pass just because he's in it. In fact. Did you not like Would You Rather?
No, I haven't seen it yet, but I have a personal reason why I can't watch it now.
Okay, well, Would You Rather, I watched 2 days ago, and I thought it was like and I hate torture movies. Like, that's my least favorite genre.
Yeah.
I thought this was one of the best shot, and the acting ensemble were great, and it was funny, and Jeff Combs was funny. The torture didn't seem, it was part of a game. It really felt tied to the narrative. So not once did I feel like, they're just milking that whole... I don't know. I really was... I'm not going to say as the best horror film, because we've had great films this year. It was definitely the best, like, red box film I've ever rented, where I was like, wow, this is good. Like,
so it's your surprise of the year.
It's my surprise. I went from being, I feel bad for Jeff. It's probably going to... I knew he was going to be good in it.
Yeah.
This is his best role since, not Reanimator necessarily, but definitely like House on Haunted. Anything he's done of the straight to video, this is a fun role, but it's shot well. It doesn't feel cheap at all. I'm saying, and Brittany Murphy, Brittany Snow. Brittany Snow's great in it. She was good.
Sasha Grey.
Yeah, so Sasha Grey's kind of just playing a throwaway character, but the fun thing about it is
I can't with her.
I know.
I've seen her do terrible things. I can't take her seriously.
I didn't know what she did, and I had to interview her for Smash Cut. This is like 4 years ago. And at the time I had no idea who she was. So I'm like Googling her to research her. The first thing that comes up is these pictures. And I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know she was doing that.
Yeah, so. Jeff Combs, when he came on Inside Horror, he had the great story. He goes, the cameraman, the DP of Would You Rather, missed the joke. Like everyone else was talking about it. And then the cameraman came on set, but knowing nothing. Really? And Sasha Grey walks over and he goes, I'm sure I've seen you, and saying, you're so good. I saw it really recently. I don't remember what it was. And everyone started laughing. And then they told him, and he just went like bright red. That's and just amazing. Literally couldn't live it down from the shoot that he had just been watching her in a porno. But no, the film is really competent. Brittany, it's a really kind of, all the performances are real. That's never silly. So it was a surprise. I thought everything it did was right. I mean, yes, it's still torture.
Yeah, that plot's kind of played out. I've seen at least like 3 other films where it's like a master of a game.
Well, the cool thing about it is that it actually has the most in common with a film we talk about on here a lot, which is Society. It's the same message.
That's weird.
It's the same message as Society about the rich and the poor, but it's done in a different way.
He's comparing Would You Rather to Society.
Not as good.
I mean, it's not like we get through one episode without a Society
or Possession.
Message.
I have lofty expectations for this film.
I really liked it. I preferred it to a lot of things I've seen. But Jeff's also so fun. It's so fun to see him play something that actually gets to be playful and weird. And But yeah, I couldn't wait to talk about it on here. I was like, oh, I really love that film.
Wow.
So unapologetic. So if you don't like it, don't blame me. But it is in Redbox for $1.
Yeah,
so,
don't make this like a Dark Skies incident and come after Becca.
No. Yeah, exactly. So I have some cred still in the show because I didn't like Dark Skies. I didn't watch it.
It's awesome. Thanks, guys.
I like it too.
But yeah, those were the things I was mostly watching. I was watching, some TV and stuff. But yeah, what about Becca?
Well,
did you have time to
what about
watch
our
anything?
Stoker?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Well, I mean, aside from, peering through both of your windows all weekend.
Nice.
The Viscera Film Fest. I forgot that we haven't done this since Viscera.
I was drinking through most of it.
Yeah, Elric and Dave. I do have complaints about the way that it was run this year, which I won't get into the politics behind it on this show. But there were some problems with the screening, like the codexes were off on a lot of the
messier.
films. So it made it really hard to watch. And then there was this thing with the drink tickets this year where in order to get a drink, you had to buy a $5 raffle ticket, even if you were buying a Coke.
It was really weird.
And so midway through at intermission, Dave and Elric vanish. And I'm like, where the hell did they go? And apparently they got upset because they couldn't drink because it was so expensive. So they went to the bar across the street and came back.
The Pig and Whistle, a classic Hollywood standard.
Yeah.
But Javanka...
I loved hers.
Her film, which was not even really a film.
It's just
portrait. It's a portrait.
A portrait.
Where she tears her face off in a beautiful prosthetic.
This is not the captured.
No, this is like a different one. This is like a little project.
I'll call it like a vignette. It's very short, and it's called Self-Portrait, and it's literally a girl taking her makeup off, and then she pulls her whole skin off.
I wonder if it's online. She might have posted it, but
I don't know.
If not, it was fun to watch.
It was like one of the best ones that I saw, and she was like, "Oh my god, I can't believe you said that. That's awesome."
It's just a portrait. Yeah, it was just nice effects and looked great.
And so there were a couple in there that I definitely thought were good. But it was really hard to watch some of them because the codexes were so off. They were just dropping frames to the point where it was painful.
Yeah.
So that was Viscera this year. And then let me just say the Q&A was just awesome. So
I was sleeping by that time.
Oh, gosh.
The Q&A moderator was over here.
Thanks, guys. So then let's see. I watched Stoker finally. It took me forever.
How many times have I posted the best film of the year is Stoker, and then now you're just finally seeing it?
But we don't actually listen to you.
Well, that's true.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, I just in one ear and out the other. Something about possession in society.
It's almost on those levels.
Yeah. So
almost.
Stoker is an amazing film.
I finally watched it, and it was seriously like the best thing I've viewed in years. It was so
well made,
breathtaking, so well made, so much care put into it, where everything was deliberate and intentional, and every look and every nuance and every light position was not just to get the film done. It was for a purpose. And it was just beautiful to watch. It was like an orchestra on screen. So
Have you seen it yet?
I have not seen it yet.
My gosh, Rob.
Well, and you're the South Korean cinema fan.
He's one of my favorite. It's the only film of his I haven't seen yet.
It is, and it's his best one by far.
Yeah, I gotta check it out.
Breathtaking.
Which is funny because you know what? I guess it's worth bringing up briefly just because it's him, but that Old Boy trailer finally popped up.
It doesn't actually look that bad.
I'm avoiding it.
I
was very ambivalent when I first watched the trailer because it's been a while since I've seen the original, and I'm like, well, it looks all right, and I like Brolin.
Yeah, I like Brolin.
He looks like he's doing a decent job in it.
It's a pretty good trailer, and I tried to look at it in the sense of, all right, if I had never seen or heard of the original movie, would this be something appealing to me that I want to see? And it's like Brolin, all right, Samuel Jackson, it looks kind of cool.
Who's the villain?
God, I forget who.
Not Colin Firth, right?
No.
He was going to be at one point, I think.
Yeah, I can't remember off the top of my head. But, honestly, the Spike Lee thing kind of worries me. I don't know if he can...
because every movie he's ever done is so preachy to the point where it's just beating you over the head. So, and his last one...
Inside Man? Wasn't bad.
No, his last one was like The Saints. It was like, it was a mystery film.
The one at St. Anne or something like that.
Yes, and it was like a war film that was a mystery film.
His anti-Clint Eastwood moment.
But you know what? But regardless of the trailer, because I watched it a couple times trying to make a decision, and I finally decided after like the third time watching it, when I saw the recreation of the Hammer hallway fight, I was like, all this trailer does is make me really want to watch the original again.
That's how I felt too.
So I'm skipping it. I'm just the weekend it comes out, I'm going to revisit, because it's been like 2-3 years since I've seen Old Boy. It's been a while. So I'm just going to revisit that one.
I'm curious to see how it does, because I know that,
Brolin's not even really a mainstream star in America.
But I mean, horror fans have seen Old Boy. And I think that, film nerds have seen Old Boy and, the art film types have seen Old Boy. But I don't think, the normal moviegoers have. And it's going to be opening everywhere, like a mall near you. So I'm anxious to see, what everyone else in America who is not, the film nerds.
If somebody saw it and said he is making an adaptation of it rather than just a straight remake with a whole new ending and stuff, I'd watch it.
You watch the trailer and it's a different ending, but you see it reminds me of seeing Let Me In, which is a fine film, but
it's brilliantly crafted, but you don't really care.
But I feel no need to ever watch it again
because
there's already a far superior movie that exists.
I guarantee that if we had never seen that one, I bet you if we had just washed up on the shore and saw that remake, we would have been blown away because it is really well made. But you're right, I didn't care either. Oh, I was just going, wow, this is great direction. But man, I don't.
The first one had great direction too. I was the same way with Funny Games,
and that's the same director.
I was just like, why did we even bother remaking this?
That film had a very different problem, though. The problem is it was made in Europe, where there's that politeness to people, where they say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm coming into your house, but now I'm going to shoot you." In America, that would never work. So when he didn't adapt his own script, he has these guys coming in and breaking into a house and being all apologetic. I'm like, no, in America, somebody would pull out a gun and say, "Get off my property," because that's how it's built on that kind of society. So I felt that it was really, this is why people can't make direct shot-by-shot remakes. It's the most absurd thing. Gus Van Sant doing Psycho is still, to me, one of the biggest sins in cinema's history because it was just so ridiculous.
I agree with you.
There was the only cool thing about it had a great DP, but even that can't make it work. I mean, it's just terrible casting, too.
And you get a 5.1 remix of the soundtrack.
Right.
That's about it.
Yeah, really. No, it's true.
The other thing that I saw this week was I got to check out Larry Fessenden's new film, Below.
Oh, because that's on my... No,
Beneath. Oh, yes. I'm sorry.
That's I
warned you guys I was tired in advance. Beneath.
When we get to the post-Comic-Con wrap-up, that will be like literally my top 3 most anticipated films.
Wow.
So you're about to crush...
I might be able to help you guys see it.
Good. She's going to crush you for once before we get to the end.
Yeah. Take that, Elric.
Though I'm going to ask you one question about it. It looked to be the least Larry Fessenden-y movie of his career?
It is.
Because it's like teenagers with a giant fish.
It's still Larry Fessenden.
Does it have ecology messaging? Because he often has a little bit of that.
Yeah.
But I love him.
See,
it's very slow paced.
I like that.
We're not talking like
slow
Ty
pace.
West, but it's still pretty slowly paced.
See, I know from the conversations I had with him, I know that like Jaws is like his favorite movie of all time. So I feel like this is him getting a chance to do his Jaws.
And it is a big fish movie, which is why I loved it so much. And the big fish in it is absolutely awesome. And I love the concept and everything. So
practical? Is it like is it a real big
it's
fish?
It's completely practical, actually. I can't even remember who it was, but somebody contacted me to tell me that they made the fish, and I think that they were at the booth. I think I met somebody at Comic-Con who had made the fish. The whole week is a freaking blur.
Did you see a screener of it, or did you see it in a...
I have a screener.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I have a screener. Wait, say that again, slower? I have a screener. This is going to make my day. Yeah. That means we have a screener.
We collectively.
I stalk you guys. I don't share though.
That's excellent news.
Yeah,
I'm very glad that you've just taken care of one of my most anticipated movies. Thank you for that.
So that was fun. And let's see, did I see anything else of interest? I don't think so. There were some screenings at Comic-Con that I wanted to get to, like Hell Baby screened.
It's time to go to a screening at Comic-Con.
Oh my God, yeah. That was my big thing. It was like by the time that end of day, and we screened, Fangoria actually held a screening of We Are What We Are there.
Oh, cool.
And
that's also on my list.
The remake.
That's also on my list.
And
see that.
So by the time, we screened, I think it was 9:00 on Friday night was the We Are What We Are screening. And I mean, I was supposed to go because, it was a Fango sponsored thing. By the time it rolled around, I was like, there's no way I'm going. I am exhausted.
Well, you have a baby too.
I'm just done. Yeah.
That's gonna burn anyone out.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
you got a hell baby.
I have a husband. He takes care of that kid. Yeah.
That's right. Put him in his corner.
But no.
Right, Brian? Right, Brian?
Yeah.
Husbands with babies,
am I the
yo.
only one that doesn't have a kid here in this entire building?
Want one? Want 3?
Nope.
We can give you a couple.
It's quite all right.
Yeah. Marty.
Oh, I watched a short film by a talented young filmmaker who...
Not that young.
I've seen.
It's not a horror film, though, but it is dark and weird.
It's quite lovely.
It's meant to be kind of Twilight Zone-y in a weird way.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say Twilighty.
Yeah.
It's like, everyone sparkles.
They don't know what we're talking about, but it's a short that I directed.
I saw Elric's short film, Tender, which is now online. And actually, I posted a link to it on our Killer POV page.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. It was cool because I didn't write it. And anyone who directs shorts, most of us grow up always having to write our own stuff. And this is the first time I kind of got to have a script, interpret it, change some stuff, and direct it. And it was So on that level, it's really fun.
Yeah. It wasn't horror per se, but it had that very weird Twilight Zone-y vibe.
The editor took it home in the middle of editing because we had a break, and he took it home and played it without music. So before anything was added and before they got to the end, and they were sure that literally the character was going to come out with a knife and kill the guy. Like, thought it was a Fatal Attraction movie.
Yeah.
And I said, then I've completely succeeded. Because I wanted to pull people in but not know where you're going.
I felt very on edge waiting.
You just don't know where it's going.
Yeah,
There's no way you would know what kind of movie it is, which is kind of weird. I like those kind of movies, though.
Yeah.
So. Anyway, thanks for watching.
Well, yeah, now I've seen something you directed, which is one more than you've seen of my stuff.
Yeah, there you go. No, I don't know. I'm not somebody who likes sharing stuff online, I must say, when it comes to films.
Yeah, of
Unlike
course.
Drew Daywalt, who's great. He can put his stuff on YouTube and like it really still translates to that. I'm still always thinking of cinema when I'm making things. So when I had the producer come to me, you better share it. You better share the link. I'm like, I don't want to share the link.
Yeah. Well, what's amazing about somebody like Drew is he's one of the rare filmmakers that makes it specifically for that format.
Right.
Which I think that's why people are like, well, why aren't my shorts as successful? Or
You're right.
It's because he actually is thinking about the way you're watching it.
And he keeps them short.
Yeah.
And then
Super
when you
short.
play them in a cinema, they're awesome too. That's like when I
that's
show them at
beautiful.
Jump Cut, the one that you're in as Luigi, what's it called?
Cart Driver.
That film I'd seen online, and it was like not one of my favorites of his. I just like before I even knew him, I watched it online once. So I was, that was pretty good. When we played at Jump Cut, I loved it.
Yeah.
Like I was blown away by the scope of it.
It played very well
Because
there.
it's like a no Gaspar Noé film, which was cool. So
Wow.
That's cool.
Anyway,
you never seen that
tangent.
one?
I have not.
All right, we'll have
I
to
have
show
to
you
go
Cart.
home and Google
We'll do
it.
another.
My acting debut.
Oh yeah, he's good as Luigi, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he's good. He makes a good Luigi.
And it was only because I happened to have a mustache at the time because I was really obsessed with Giallo movies.
Oh yeah.
And I was like,
I love them,
every detective in these has like a mustache. I'm just going to grow a mustache.
Yeah. Mustaches are great.
And Drew saw it. He's like, you should be Luigi in my thing. I'm like, all right.
No, you're good. Actually, you could act.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's what we've seen.
Yeah.
That's what we've seen.
We've
And
seen
then-
some stuff between us. That's not bad.
Yeah.
And then there was Comic-Con, and I didn't get a chance.
I'm going to time the Comic-Con conversation. Brian, can I get exactly 3 minutes on the board
3
because I
minutes?
was not at
He
Comic-Con?
is just jealous because he didn't come this year.
That's mostly true.
There's
Yes.
nothing to be jealous of, my friend, other than the fact that the first order of business was getting that NECA Jason 8-bit figure.
Oh, yeah, right?
For us too. That was kind of the first thing
Had
that
to
we
be
did.
done.
I want to see it.
And then
And not for sheer irony, because the game's terrible, but I like the game. I actually have MP3s of the music from that damn game in my
you
iTunes.
serious?
FYI,
Yes.
we will be playing that game on the Jump Cut screen in
Yes.
not too long before Mike Williamson's screening coming up down the track. He just told me recently we're going to be playing that game. So.
does he have a 16 millimeter cut of it?
I guess so. Yeah, it does.
Yeah, knowing him.
Yeah, I didn't actually buy one of those. I kind of, I signed off against all the toys. I used to be such an avid toy collector, and I decided to stop a couple of years ago. But instead, all of the Fangoria staff from around the country was like, pick me up one. I ended
Right.
up buying 4, and none of them were for me.
Yeah.
So apparently that toy.
At least you got 4. Because that's the funny thing. Because, like, no offense to my friends. I love you all and everything. But, like, I get there. I'm not really made of money to begin with. But I got 25 texts from 25 different people. Hey, please buy me that NECA figure. And I'm like, all right, first of all, there's 25 of you. It's cash only. I don't have $500 freaking dollars to lay out for all these friends. Second of all, I don't want to have a box of freaking Jason figures on the damn train because there's a train over there. It's like, where do you want me to put all this stuff?
Did you buy any for anyone?
What's that? No, I got it for myself.
That's how you do
Actually,
it.
I got one for
How many
eight-
followers did he just lose, Brian? let's look at the
No,
stats.
but I will tell you this: NECA put it online every single day, and the second they did, I tweeted, I posted, I was like, "Hey, if you guys want it, if I knew, I wouldn't have come. I would have just gotten it online." But yeah, they were available online every single day of the convention.
Wow,
so
I had
you could
no
have
idea.
gotten it.
Are they squishy or are they toys?
No, it's like
It's
like an
a
action
figurine.
It's like an
figure.
action figure.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, cool.
Is
It's
it
not
squishy?
Yeah, you never know. Could have been squishy.
It looks squishy.
Well, that was our Comic-Con wrap up.
Oh, this guy.
No,
Don't
we
you
had.
know how I did? Come
Yeah.
on.
I heard off camera. So
I texted him a few times because Elric was like, "How's Rob doing?" And I was like,
I didn't see
he's
Becca
managing.
I didn't see her for like the first 3 days. It was that
And
busy.
I was like, "Rob, are you like holed up in your hotel room, man?
I
Are you
was.
coming out?"
I hid as much as humanly
Really?
possible. Yeah.
I saw photos of you with AJ Bone.
Yeah. Well, he came and surprised me and actually dragged me out to parties, which I was trying to avoid as well. The first day or two, look, it's not that I didn't enjoy the experience, and I have to give tremendous props to FEARnet and Lawrence because it was a very tight machine. We had I think 40 some odd interviews or things that we were covering. And it was me, Lawrence, and Elise, 3 journalists, something like 7 video crew people. And the way we were just paired up, we had about 2, maybe 3 interviews a day. So for me, like I'd look at my schedule and I'd be like, all right, I got to be here at 11:30 and here at 3. And you've got, Kyle is your video guy this time, and then Ben at 3 o'clock. And then that was it. And then anything in between was up to my own prerogative what to do. So the schedule was, it was a very efficient, well worked out thing. But, in between those 3 hours, getting from one place to another, especially like on Thursday or Friday when it got like insane, there were just so many people there. It's funny because I did do a few Dexter podcasts at the Entertainment Earth booth with Scott, and that was one of the few booths that had a second floor. Like they built a second floor to it. So that was like our little escape where we got to get up above stuff. I looked out and it looked like freaking World War Z.
It does.
It looked like swarms of people everywhere. And I was like, oh my God, they're going to start climbing on top of each other any second now.
Was Bruce Campbell there this year for Evil Dead? Was he part of it?
I didn't think so. No,
I did do Evil Dead stuff, and it was Fede, the director, and Jane.
Yeah.
And that was actually set up outside the convention hall.
Yeah, they did that in Omni?
I interviewed them at the Hilton Hotel.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's the other weird thing is I didn't realize how active stuff was outside of the convention. They've really gone about making pretty much the whole area very con heavy and con related.
Unless it's a straight, panel, a chunk of the press junkets are outside the hotel.
Yeah.
So yeah, we do a lot of running around.
I heard Magneto is wearing a You're Next face mask.
Oh my God, Michael
That's
Fassbender.
hilarious.
An animal mask.
Came out with a You're Next mask right for that panel. And I guess the other cool thing that we should bring up, and it's going to be in our most anticipated, but one of the interviews I got to do was at Scream Factory, which is the only time I saw Geek Nation.
That's my news piece for the day. Don't say it. You're going to say it. Okay, go ahead.
I have to, only because this is how cool it was. I interviewed them an hour before their panel, and it was Jeff Nelson, who was on our show, Cliff McMillan. And they were like hesitant about talking about titles to me. And I'm like, I swear to you, there's no way we're going to edit this and get it up before you make your announcements in 1 hour.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So please just be candid. And they were really great. But in the middle of our interview, Cliff McMillan had gotten an email that confirmed they got the Cabal cut.
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
They actually did not have it until right before that panel.
Wow.
And that was very impressive. Like, oh my God, they're finally, Nightbreed. It's going to be a big deal.
Yeah, we'd been told in advance by Shout Factory that they were going to be making a huge announcement. So I had one of my guys in there, and we had him tweeted as they were saying it. So yeah, it was a big deal. So I'm really curious with releasing Cabal Cut, how they're going to make it look decent. Because we screened it at the New Beverly probably about a year ago, actually.
Yeah, parts of it are pretty unwatchable.
A lot of VHS quality stuff.
It was like a twice dub VHS. Some of it was pretty much unwatchable. Like you couldn't see what was going on.
And the dialogue dubbing really takes you out of it at times. Because there'll be a different voice on an actress the actress who has the very foreign look, and she has this Valley Girl accent.
Smoke,
and it's very weird.
Because in the actual movie, they obviously dubbed her into this, some type of European accent. And in the actual footage from the Cabal Cut, like the original footage, she's very much just like, hi, y'all. And it's very candid.
I'm excited that they're doing it, but I will say, and I will always go proudly on the record saying, because I saw Nightbreed at such a critical age, and it was really one of my favorite films as a kid, I didn't really care for the Cabal Cut in the way that everyone else is. And that's not because it's not as good or as interesting. It's just because I had such strong
feelings towards it.
Because all the things they were saying, like Clive Barker was on stage during your thing, and everything he was saying about the original not being good was like, they made us sympathize with the monsters not enough. We had to make the monsters more like villains. I was thinking none of that rang true to me. I was like, I always sympathized with the monsters, never once had a problem with any of that stuff. So it was just funny to me that the things that they're improving on, I didn't really care. But I think it's awesome that it's going to come out and if they can get a good copy of it, then maybe it will be different, But I just love Nightbreed, so.
And I'm sure they won't, because I'm sure that, Clive is very much like, this is what I made and this is the Cabal Cut. Mm-hmm. But the final fight in Midian went on for like 45 minutes.
Yeah, they need to cut it. I'm of the understanding, and again, I can't speak for them, but when they got the email, they're like, we have a very, very long road ahead of us.
Right.
And I thought I saw something mentioned online, it might have even been through Clive, where they are actively looking for the original elements so that they don't have to use that VHS quality stuff.
That's good.
So I feel like
it could be awesome. It could end up being awesome.
Pretty excessively on it. I hope they give it a proper edit. I did ask, and this is still something up in the air and up for debate, but I guess this is from Morgan Creek, the Cabal cut. That doesn't necessarily mean they'll include the theatrical, because the theatrical is, I want to say, Warner Brothers.
Yeah. Morgan Creek is Clive's own company.
Yeah.
And so I don't think that they can include the original cut on the DVD.
Not yet, but I know that's definitely something they're going to aim to do.
Do you remember there's an IBM video game back in the day? I mean, that's how crazy. Nightbreed is so obscure, but in New Zealand, it came out as kind of a normal release,
Yeah.
But I remember when the Amiga first came out. I had an Amiga when it first came out, and there was a game, a Nightbreed game
in the States.
I don't know.
That sounds familiar, but I don't think so.
Maybe you didn't. Maybe that was an Amiga 500. Look it up. Google that shit.
And
no, this is more like a computer. Amiga was more like a pre-Mac. I mean, Mac existed, but no, I'm pretty sure it was IBM game. There was an IBM game, and it was called Nightbreed. Yeah, and it was crazy. It wasn't like a Atari type game. It was more like you'd see the graphics. It was like weird. It was like somewhere between pick your own adventure and a game, but it was. I think back to that and think how weird that is.
Yeah,
that was ever on the cusp of being something big. But Nightbreed's so beautifully made.
Yeah,
even in the cut that we grew up on, I just love that film.
Yeah,
it's good stuff. That's cool. So some exciting. Hopefully we'll get Cliff and Jeff back on the show together.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Like we originally planned. That'll be fun.
Yeah. And they met a few of the. I mean, it looks like they're just barreling through the John Carpenter filmography, because Assault on Precinct 13 was just announced.
Right. That's great though.
Well, I know that Justin Beam, who shoots a lot of that, was supposed to come work with us at Comic-Con and run the Fango booth. And like 3 days beforehand, he got contracted to something by Shout Factory and had to cancel. So that means something with John Carpenter.
And I would highly encourage people to get the Fangoria issue with the John Carpenter special issue, because just this morning I read Justin Beam's interview with him, and I really liked the interview, not because it wasn't really like super in depth on one particular thing, but it was this whole overview of his career and just quick responses to each title, and I really liked how fresh they seemed and how, I don't know, he seems to be in a good point now of how he's looking back on things. He doesn't seem as curmudgeonly as he's usually portrayed. It felt like it was good. I really liked it.
I don't know what Justin did to get him to open it, because I've heard him answer those exact same questions, and they're usually very curt and to the point.
I guess getting to know each other probably made him trust him
for a really long time.
But even having just seen the Elvis film for the first time myself, and then hearing how he made that and how he got jobs, how he got gigs is kind of. I know, I really liked it. I didn't read the whole thing yet, but the opening interview is cool.
Yeah. Usually get to the In the Mouth of Madness piece. I hear it's awesome.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's one of my favorite films. Why is it one of my favorite films? People who know me so well in this room. Come on.
Lovecraft?
Who's the actor in it? And what film was he in?
Sam Neill.
What film was he in?
Possession.
Yes, we got a Possession reference. And he's from New Zealand. So, are we any more Comic-Con stuff before we can turn?
I met Mr. King from Slayer. That was kind of cool.
Yeah,
because I'm really good friends with Nuclear Blast Records, and they know I was a big Slayer fan, so they brought him by to meet me, and that was by far one of like my coolest moments.
I've never seen Slayer. What is it? Is there a sequel to it? Are you talking about music?
Yeah,
the rock band Slayer.
Rock band.
It's all hand in hand.
See, that's where me and Hard
JD and Sam won tickets to the Metallica concert that only like 300 people got to go to. Or I'm sorry, it was like actually like 150. It was like a really, really small audience, and they said that it was like the greatest thing ever.
I don't know about that. Maybe 10 years ago it would have been the greatest thing ever.
Are they all still in it? Or
Metallica?
Yeah, it's all the same guys.
The bassist is like the guy from Saint Anger and all.
Yeah, and they've got a new film coming out that's actually got some horror film roots to it. I'm a bit confused because it's like a fictionalized narrative film.
Have you seen this trailer?
With the concerts in it?
It's either going to be the best movie of all time or not. It's most likely going to be not.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a live concert video. And by the way, in the trailer, it's like. They're pretty terrible in the live footage stuff. It doesn't sound like the Metallica I remember. But so they're performing a concert, and they send the kid from Chronicle, who's their roadie, to run a bunch of errands. And he's running errands in the street, and apparently everything they're singing about comes true. So like there's like narrative stuff with like the Horsemen of the Apocalypse.
Yeah,
stuff.
apparently like he ends up traveling through hell when he's running these errands.
It looks so batshit crazy.
Is it a movie or like a tour thing?
It's both. I don't know.
It's a fictional movie.
It's a fictional movie with them playing, but with live performance.
Did you ever see Perry Farrell's film, The Gift?
I love that movie.
Yeah, that's a beautiful
interesting
movie. That was like early Alice in Chains.
That was early. Yeah. That was before Jane's Addiction.
Yeah, before it's before he did the.
It was like 93, 92.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. If anyone can track it down,
I have a copy. I have it on VHS.
It's pretty cool.
Dave and I, that was one of the first films we watched together, but he always had a copy of it. So, but it's really beautiful, and it follows the same lines where it's the story of it's Perry Farrell and his girlfriend at the time, Casey's story, where or is it Casey? I think her name's Casey.
Yeah, that's started a long time ago.
Something like that. It's
Mexican
his
wedding.
Girlfriend at the time, yeah, and they fall in love, but they're on heroin, and they have a Mexican wedding, and they get a chicken. And then it talks about them trying to kick heroin, but she comes home and does it one day and ODs and dies.
Don't give thee away.
That happens in the first 5 minutes because most of the film is him talking about their life together while he dresses her body. And it cuts to a lot of concert footage.
Yeah. But it's good when we're talking about music. And then Slash is about to make a movie, right? Or just did make a movie?
Yeah.
Slash
I think he's producing some horror titles or something like that.
I think the two of them should play in
That's well, yeah. Well, I'll go with
double
that,
feature.
Yeah, it is interesting. Well, they've got the money. Should we?
Yeah, that was Comic-Con.
Yeah,
Comic-Con.
What
was
can we say? It was
crazy.
exhausting. I never want to do it again, but I probably will have to next year. And
We're debating having a booth again next year, but we'll see.
Yeah.
So,
I will have a booth next year, and I will
Elric Kane
be
booth.
just me,
Elric.
just sitting at a booth. There, you can make of it
What
what
was,
you will.
what was the live podcast like? Because obviously Elric and I couldn't be there, but you said there's some Killer POV fans out there.
Yeah, that was by far my most exciting and a little shocking moment of the entire Comic-Con is the amount of people who stopped by the Fango booth and went, "Oh my gosh, you're back from Killer POV." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, you listen?" And it was awesome.
Yes.
So,
I'm so glad those people I paid off came and told you.
They did.
It is really cool and if you're listening and you haven't said that you like this, if you're someone we don't know, especially, it does mean a lot to us because we don't know. You never know.
Let us know.
And we know we have friends who listen, but when we hear from you, it really is pretty awesome.
The people who came by the Fangoria booth to profess their love about the show were people that I did not know. They were not followers. It was just, "Hi, I'm visiting from Arizona, and I just wanted to let you know I love the show."
That's rad.
And then there was several. I mean, like more than 10. And I wish I could have taken a picture of each one and had them say this on camera just so I could bring it back and share with you guys. But there was one guy, and I wish I could remember his name, but he came by several times. He took a picture with me. You were there too for part of it because he's a huge
Cody.
Thank you.
Shout out to Cody, big Psycho fan, big supporter of Psycho Legacy as well.
Yeah, and he's a big Twin Peaks fan, and he is a diehard listener of Killer POV.
Nice.
He knew every episode. And when we were doing the live taping, Cody came and watched, and then we had 2 other people who came and watched, and I was just like, "Man, this is awesome."
Cody, if you're listening, I will burn you my copy of Possession and send you a DVD -R. Of the film. Brace yourself.
Elric.
And you will be one of very few people who will have that.
Who has it?
Before the Blu-ray comes out a week later.
Hit him up on Facebook.
So I will really do that. I'm not all talk, just 90%. All right, I've got action round. This is how we'll do it, just to change our energy.
All right.
Our anticipating. Let's just do fast titles, what we're looking for, see if we can, because there are a lot of good stuff. And let's start with theatrical before we get to Blu-ray, DVD type stuff.
Oh, crap.
And we don't have to have many. I've got some written down that we'll probably all agree on. Okay, well, look, easy ones. You're next. You'd have to be crazy not to be looking forward to your next.
Yeah, I actually do want to see it. I haven't seen it in a long time, and I'd like to see it with an audience when it comes out.
I have yet to see it, and I tend not to like slasher or home invasion films, but I'm really excited about this one.
A different hybrid of this both.
Yeah.
So.
We just talked about before. That looks interesting, an interesting remake, at least worth seeing.
Again,
good director.
I fell asleep instead of seeing it, but Sam says it's amazing. I've heard it is just as slow paced as the original, but the original is really slow paced, so you know what you're getting into.
Insidious 2. Look, let's not forget, Conjuring just kicked all sorts of ass at the box office.
I haven't seen it yet.
Okay, I will say, Rob, did you go through the Insidious 2 haunted house at Comic-Con?
I didn't. I wish I did.
That was awesome. That was awesome because it wasn't like a haunted house where things were jumping out and scaring you. They had scenes from the original Insidious setup, like a whole bunch of people covered with sheets and blood, and the nether or the further and things like that. And then my favorite part was there was an ice cream trunk out front, so there was a red demon pop. So I was like,
cool.
I'm eating the one named after Joe.
But literally, this could go down as being like the nicest person in Hollywood to ever have a number one film or two number one films
Yeah.
in 2 years or 3 years.
Yeah, we can vouch for
in
that.
horror.
Yeah.
James Wan is wonderful.
But this film's just made with beautiful craft. So it's like, if you haven't seen it yet, see it. Tell us what you think. Maybe Rob will see it maybe by next week.
I'm gonna try to catch it one night this week.
I would go
for
again
sure.
if I could make it with you. I'd go again because
Comic-Con got in the way.
Yeah. But it's remarkable. So Insidious 2, we'll be looking for that. But
and
then
I hear Insidious 2 is like batshit crazy. Like, I love when you get to a sequel and you're like, well, what the hell? We can do whatever the hell we want now.
Yeah.
You might as well go Phantasm 2 style.
A lot of people are like, oh, a lot of people in the first one's critique is the third act when it goes into the further, but I love that stuff.
Really?
Yeah, I did.
And apparently,
you didn't like it.
I didn't like that.
Well, apparently 2 is more in that realm.
More further
and more further crazy stuff.
Yeah.
So I can't wait.
I like it. And it's probably fun for him because The Conjuring's much more of a classic Hollywood studio film, but with great trick photography, great, whereas it's probably fun to go to Insidious and go lower budget and be a bit more surreal.
Yeah.
He's got them made. Now he'll make car movies. Goodbye. Sorry. But then to the ones that are more personal that I think look just badass. From everything I hear about Cheap Thrills is just awesome.
Can't wait to see that.
And I cannot wait to see it. The one we were just talking about, Beneath. And then there's some fun things like obviously Rec 4, that could be interesting. They're going to a bigger scale.
I like all the Rec movies.
Yeah,
so
I'm curious.
Anytime those come out, I'll check it out.
The thing I'm most excited about that isn't a release, and Becca is always on me about it because she's seen it, but I never did, was All the Boys Love Mandy Lane coming
It's
out.
awesome. Yeah,
That's
that
a cool
is
one.
due out on September 6th.
In theaters,
right?
right?
Actually, September 6th is VOD,
Okay.
and that actually might have it'd be a low theatrical. It's not going to do a full theatrical, I'm sure.
And then there's a well-known genre actor whose name is, I think it's Alfred J. Bowen.
Yes.
And he tweeted about a film a couple weeks ago that got me really interested in a film called The Battery, which I had not heard of at all. It was not on my radar. So I quickly looked it up and it looked really cool. And he kept talking about how good a film it was. So now I'm really curious.
Yeah.
Did you watch it?
I haven't seen it. I've heard from several people, including him, how great
And it's going to be at Family
Shiny,
soon. So maybe we'll all go to it and we'll see what we think.
Yeah.
In my not category, not excited is
excited?
Carrie.
No,
it's
they
the one
did-
film I'm not excited about.
They've started doing some small press screenings of it, and people are starting to say it's really bad. At least the people that I've talked to who have seen it.
The trailer looked like the same movie.
They had a giant building size advertisement for it stuck to the Hard Rock Cafe.
The bigger the advertisement,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the one that I'm not looking forward to, speaking of that, RIPD.
Oh, yeah, but that already
That's
came
already
out.
out.
That's
I
on now.
know.
Conjuring ripped it.
Of course it did. But what was funny about that, they did the press screening this Saturday of Comic-Con. So everyone was at Comic-Con. So it was
You know what the best review I read though, and it was really probably right, is they said the only way a film like this could have worked was if John Carpenter had directed it.
I
read that. I can't remember where I
somewhere.
read it, but they were like, Jeff Bridges actually is really wacky and could have worked if he had been working with a real director.
Yeah.
And that would have been awesome for like Big Trouble in Little China style.
Yeah.
So a couple that I'm looking forward to, Frankenstein's Army, surprisingly looks amusing for me. We put it on the cover of the next Fangoria. Just because our editor saw it, said it was awesome, but he kind of likes everything, but that's okay. We still love him. But no, it does look like a really cool technical film. A lot of the effects in it were practical, so I'm anxious to see what they do with that. Let's see here. What else? Riddick. I am such a huge Pitch Black fan. Chronicles of Riddick, but I've heard that the
Pitch
next
Black was pretty fun.
Yeah, I've heard that the next Riddick is like a true throwback to the original Pitch Black. So I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, I got to revisit. It's been years since I've seen Pitch Black, but I remember liking it quite a bit.
I didn't see Riddick. I didn't bother with Riddick.
The second one I couldn't even finish. I remember, but Pitch Black is fun, and this definitely looks like it's more in line with that one.
Yeah.
I before I forgot, I saw a trailer today when I was looking up what else was coming out. I saw the new trailer to Patrick.
Oh, wow,
It looked awesome.
I want to see that
Weren't
too.
they in town just shooting that 2 months ago?
No, it was in Australia. Definitely. Because Sharni Vincent from Your Next was the star.
Mark Hartley directed it. The guy that did those docs, Not Quite Hollywood.
And that great British, the guy from Alien 3 is the doctor. But man, the trailer's good. You guys should look. I think it was on Bloody Disgusting that I saw it today.
Yeah, I saw a teaser, but I know there's a new trailer.
This was a full trailer, and
yeah.
it looked really fun. It looked like a pretty wild movie. I mean, the original's fun too, but this looked like a high-end version.
Yeah.
So that was cool. Anything? I mean, we've listed a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's mostly just home video stuff. And I mean, again, I'm a huge collector. Again, Scream Factory, can't say enough nice things about them.
Oh yeah.
They got their I Come in Peace disc coming out. Really excited for their Vincent Price collection, which I think is in October or so. I just watched, I'd never seen this, but I actually won a trivia night. I won The Incredible Melting Man.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
And I
Playing
watched,
this Friday
I just got a
night at
copy of
midnight.
that.
yeah, it's playing
With the director?
Yeah, it's playing at is that Cinefamily?
Cinefamily with director.
They're doing a screening there. But I watched it at home, and yet again, it's a movie from the mid '70s that looks far better than it has any right looking.
It shouldn't look as good as
Yeah,
it
it's
does.
a pretty. I remember it being a
beautiful.
cruddy film with these amazing effects.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. And I haven't watched the special features yet, but Rick Baker is the one who did the effects on it. So I think they did some stuff with him on there.
I just got one on DVD a couple of days ago. I've got a couple that I was pretty excited to watch. Alice Kills, which is a kind of lesser known DVD release, but it actually looks really good. It's about a girl who accidentally kills one of her girlfriends at a party and then tries to cover it up, but everything keeps spiraling out of control.
Nice.
And that sounds kind of Weekend of Bernie's like, but it isn't. It's not a comedy.
It's not that good.
Yeah.
Weekend at Bernie's is a masterwork.
Can I just, I have to interject because it's so funny, but Weekend at Bernie's has come up like 10 times in the last week. I think it was just meant to be.
I believe it because Elric posted best hot summer in the city movies, and I put down Weekend at Bernie's, and he was
that?
like,
It's not the
in a
city."
city. Yes, it is because it's set on the hottest day of the year in New York City.
But then they're not in
But
New
then
York.
they leave to the island.
That's why they leave to the island. but
Because
I disqualify it.
somebody mentioned it.
totally counts. Totally counts.
And I own everything. So I'm like, you know what? I should own Weekend at Bernie's 1 and 2. So I bought it for like $5 on Amazon, both of them. And I watched the first one
Who
right
the hell
before.
thinks I should own Weekend at Bernie's?
Me, obviously.
The same guy who owns Mannequin 1, 2, and 3.
I was going to say, well, there's no 3, but
Now there is
is
greenlit.
But
Geek Nation presents.
So I watched. I just have to put this out there. I watched Weekend at Bernie's right before I left for Comic-Con. Did 5 days of Comic-Con, and then when I got off the train to relax, I'm like, I'll put on Weekend at Bernie's too.
My God,
I don't
it's
remember
horrible.
it. But here's the thing. I want to know what world. I can't believe that happened.
Right.
It's he's still dead. It takes place like the next day. And like I can't believe that sequel. And then he gets resurrected by voodoo or something.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Anytime music plays, he gets up and starts walking
Yeah,
and
he
leads them
dances
to
and that.
treasure.
Yeah.
And they just do terrible things to his corpse, like stuff it in a
the
luggage.
craziest
and
thing.
I just can't believe this movie exists.
But the craziest thing for people, and our friends talk about this on Twitter, so believe it or not, this stuff comes up quite a lot if you follow any of us. But the fact that it's directed by the guy who directed Rambo.
Yep.
Is
Who
just
did
number
two?
one. No,
Oh, the
number one.
first one.
Ted Kotcheff and Wake and Fright, which is one of my favorite
Wake and
Australian
Fright is
films.
amazing.
But so you watch
Yeah.
those 3 films and go, holy cow, that is like some sort of weird chops to be able to make something like Weekend at Bernie's after making something like Rambo.
Yeah.
And
It's
Wake and Fright is like
Wake and Fright's
10
one of the best
times more
ones. If you haven't
extreme.
seen Wake and Fright, you really should. If you like Rolling Thunder and movies like that,
And
that's
movies,
one of those
yeah.
other great
It's
discoveries.
beautiful.
And, and speaking of Bernie, Terry Kaiser, who played him, this weekend, Saturday night at the New Beverly, Brian Collins, our friend, is hosting Friday the 13th, Part 7.
I
I might
New
go to
Blood.
that. I might go to that.
I'm definitely
That's the
going.
awesome
haven't seen it.
telekinetic one, right?
Yes, it is. It
Oh, man. That's
it was
my
It was
fave.
the first one I saw in theaters. I have a great story behind that, but we have a Friday episode coming up soon. I have a special Friday related guest, so we're gonna have a whole episode just on Friday 13th at some point.
When is he showing
cool.
that at the New Bev? Friday?
This Saturday night, which is the 20.
Yep. I pick up my mom at the airport.
Sunday
I
AM
will have to miss it.
At midnight.
Yeah. The 27th at
Yeah.
midnight at New Beverly.
So
That's
I'm just
awesome.
going to flick through a couple of Blu-rays that I know are coming out. Obviously, The Fog's coming out, and that's going to be incredible. A lot of anticipation there.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we'll have a guest.
You know what I'm actually
from there.
curious about is the new Child's Play movie.
yeah.
Curse of Chucky.
We
Yeah.
have a huge campaign running for it on Fangoria, and I know that half of our team is at Fantasia right now, and I think they're screening it there.
Are they? Yeah.
I'm pretty
We're gonna
sure.
be-
The trailer's not bad. It actually kind of looks more like a remake of the
But it's
first
because
one
of
than anything.
Mancini. It's back and it's in his control now, and he's
Yeah,
trying to
but
make a
he
film.
made Seed as
I know, but I
well.
think he's probably got to that point where he wants to return it to.
My theory is that because the remake took so long, because it looks like a remake of the first one, but it's
Yeah.
called Curse of Chucky, not Child's Play. I'm wondering if MGM still has the rights to the Child's
The
Play
Child's
name.
Play series, yeah.
But the weird thing is they're releasing the movie. I think it's October 6th or so.
I actually have the date right here.
They're
It is
also-
September 24th.
Okay,
it goes
September-
to DVD.
Okay, and then they're also releasing a box set, which for the first time collects all of them, including the first one, which is MGM.
Mm-hmm.
So they must have struck some kind of licensing deal to collect them all. But yeah, I'm actually curious about it. It looks kind of cool.
Well, they're playing it straight at least, and that's what you need
Yeah.
to do sometimes when things get too silly. Just like I wish they would have done that with Nightmare on Elm Street rather than the way they went about that remake. It would have been cool to keep it in the family and find some way to reimagine a new beginning, and returning him to not being a wisecracking from day one again. You know,
Yeah.
It's tough though. It's got to be hard each generation. You know, you can change a little bit. But there's so many things like Cue the Winged Serpent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just got our screener copy of that a couple days ago because we get the copies a little bit before they're released so that we can do the press on them, and it looks awesome.
Yeah, that looks great. In the Mouth of Madness, October.
Oh yeah.
And one of my favorites, like slash, if like everyone loves a good slash Bay of Blood, which has my favorite title in the history of cinema, Twitch of the Death Nerve. Like
Which
literally,
is kind of
my favorite
a
title.
camping film.
Yeah, but it's so cool to see it and then realize like everything that happens is Friday the 13th.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It's amazing.
That's why I equate it as a camping film.
It really is like the
before there
ultimate
were
one.
camping films.
But I'll be very curious to see how that looks in Blu-ray because it's a nicely shot film, and I bet you it'll look really good.
Yeah.
And then there's the most anticipated for Rob. I know he's going to love this because anything by you,
A
Eli
Haunted
Roth.
House 2?
Dear Eli Roth,
Oh.
Rob awaits your film,
Which one?
Green Inferno,
Oh, yeah.
a film about cannibals.
Starring
What? Come on.
Sorry.
We're building a geek fan base with, All right.
Yeah, that was kind of
Sorry,
my
Eli.
reaction to it, too. Is
I don't know anything about it, just Eli Roth and Robert.
It's been a long time since Hostel 2. That's
Okay.
all I got to say.
And I've been so excited about some of the films that have been coming out this year being so smart and so ingenuitive and offering so much filmmaking wise. I just don't know if I'm ready for just one that's like solid gore.
It's time to dumb shit up.
Because I mean, that's ultimately what Hostel 2 was for me, was boobs and gore. Oh, look, she's taking her top off and now we're going to cut this eyeball out. And,
And that was the good part.
Yeah. And I just don't know if I'm ready to go back to that.
I don't know if it would be. Maybe he got smarter. Maybe I did see an interview on NPR with him, or I listened to it in the car once, and he was talking about how all this time off and all the films he acted in, he felt like he was learning a lot more about making films, which I thought was interesting.
Will go ahead and mention this because this was part of the news segment, but what the hell? That the Goratorium has gone bankrupt.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why.
Done.
Because when I went and it cost as much as it did and it was as crappy as it was, and you go through it in like 5 minutes.
How much
and
was it?
I think we got half price tickets, but it still would have been like a $40, like to full price. It would have been like $40, and you're in there for like 6-7 minutes.
Wow.
It's just you walk through and it's over, and it's performance based. So somebody's acting through it, and so of course your
year
ride's going to
round?
depend.
Yeah. That's
it just wasn't very good. And look, also we're spoiled because Universal Horror Nights,
Yeah.
those mazes are so much better.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised.
Well, they are filing bankruptcy, but they're trying to find ways to recoup it. So they've got like new investors and a new owner, and they're trying to, kind of retweak it so that they can keep it open and making
Hire
money.
Universal Horror Nights.
Yeah.
And they'll make a better version of it.
Or not, part of my jobs for Fango has always been to, each year we do kind of the best haunts in the country. So I get to fly around and try them out. And I have been to some, like the best haunt I've ever been to is in, Pontiac, Michigan. It's not even in Detroit. It's like 30 minutes outside of Detroit. Best haunted house in the world. And it's like a 45-minute haunted house. It's
I want to go to
amazing.
Drew Daywalt's first house. Have you ever heard him? If he ever tells you about the house he grew up in, it sounds like an amazing haunted house.
Yeah.
Creepy stuff.
Not me. I don't want to go there.
Did you guys hear, and this might be, I don't know if you have any news stories, but lost Wicker Man footage?
No.
Heard about that?
Yeah, Robin Hardy, the director of the original and director of the absolutely god-awful sequel the last year. But Wicker Man, the original, is one of my favorite movies. And apparently, they had always lost a huge portion of it, like I don't know, 35 minutes worth of footage. And so they have rediscovered it, and he is editing it into a British copy right now. That will be coming out soon. So it'll be really interesting to see what that does to it. That's the funny thing, just like Cabal Cut, sometimes it takes away from the essence of what you have come to know as that film.
Yeah.
And sometimes it will be amazing. So we'll see.
I have a version that came in that like wooden tin or whatever.
That's the one I have.
Yeah, that's
And there's at least 2 or 3 versions in there
Yeah.
already. So there's more?
This stuff was
It's the new
discovered.
Blade Runner.
Dear God. All right.
So
there's more.
One of the ones that, I was looking forward to, it came out last Tuesday, but I haven't seen yet. Has anyone seen Francis Ford Coppola's Twixt yet?
I'm waiting to see it in 3D with him mixing sound live at every screening across America, like he said in interviews at Comic-Con 2 years ago.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet.
I don't know. We're running like this massive campaign for it on the Fangoria
I can't believe that. You guys gave it 4 stars out of 4?
Chris did.
But I haven't heard a single other person say anything about it. That was good.
I'm scared to watch it because, it looks awesome from the trailer and everything. But at the same time, I keep reading these horrible reviews. And it's Francis Ford Coppola, and for him to go direct to DVD.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I mean, that's pretty weird. And he spent a lot, and it was meant to be 3D. Mm-hmm. But, Val Kilmer and Bruce Stern, where you can't go wrong.
So I think I might try to watch it.
I'll definitely be into watching it. But and I like Francis Ford Coppola. It's cool that he tried. I mean, I'm curious. I mean, he has a lot of money that he can drop on movies right now. And I've read interviews where he says like literally he made so much money from the wine business that he can like go, well, I'm going to spend $10 million on a movie, and it doesn't matter at all if no one sees it. He doesn't care at all. Like he does not care if no one sees it.
Wine business than he did off like Godfather.
He made about 1,000 times more money off the wine business than he. I mean, we're talking. It's ridiculous. It's insane.
That's what we should get into.
My God, guys, let's just quit now and go open up a winery.
Geek Nation wine could work. Bro.
Yeah.
We'll give him the eye. Yeah, he likes
Killer
it.
POV winery. It's got to be blood red, but we'll make it work.
Right in the heart of Van Nuys.
You know, my dad makes
Fine Van Nuys brew.
Fine Van Nuys brew.
My dad makes some pretty killer wine.
Oh, he does?
Just saying, yeah.
In his turlet?
It's all back in New York. I'll tell you how potent this stuff is. He once poured me a tiny glass of his homemade wine, and I had a full like pasta dish, and I ate the whole meal, had a sip of his wine, put it down. I got up to go to the bathroom and stumbled on the first step.
Oh, wow.
That little bit on a full stomach messed me up.
That great Long Island brew.
I'm going to try to get a bottle of that out here.
I want to try it.
Yeah.
Because from where I am,
hardcore.
I grew up on moonshine, seriously. Like, that's what we drank in high school. So,
makes sense.
Yeah.
Rings true.
Yep. And so I would love to try some homemade wine because everything I've ever tried that's homemade is like the moonshiny stuff. Where you burn it to make sure that you know it's not going to kill you.
And
what
the last,
the
last thing I saw that I know you guys don't care, but some people might. I saw the Walking Dead trailer thing, the extended trailer, and I really thought it looked awesome. I really loved the last season. It was like my favorite thing.
I like the show. I just haven't watched most of season 3 yet.
The third season was just so cool.
Yeah.
And it had a villain. But the weird thing about the new trailer was it never showed that person who's the villain in the third season.
Yeah.
But it must have been purposeful. It must be them holding something back because it looked like they were showing the whole season. In a trailer, but they didn't show that. So I was curious, but it did look good. It looks like they're getting to a bigger scale with each season.
I do have to say, they had one of the coolest setups at Comic-Con. Did you go through? Probably not, because it had like a 3-hour line.
No, but I walked around it. It did look pretty cool.
Yeah, they built an actual prison. They had what's called an island where it's like 6 booths combined together, and it's like this huge area. And they built the actual prison, and it was 2 stories and had zombies in the pens, and you could walk through it and everything. It looked really cool.
It did. Although I think
they're like the rock stars of that now, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the big draw, right?
Well,
now.
My favorite year that they did it was 3 years ago, actually, and they follow what they do each year along with what's going on in the show. So, like the first year they had a living room set. Last year, I think they had the woods
with
and
the
this year,
blades, with her at the samurai.
And this year they had the prison. But my favorite year was the first year because they had the living room set.
Yeah.
But the coolest thing that they had was they had windows in it, and the shades were drawn. But through the shades, it looked like hordes of zombies were coming at you. And of course, it wasn't. I mean, like the Fangoria booth was on the other side of one of the walls. But however they did that, it was just projection screen, but it was so effective and creepy. So that was by far my favorite one from that year.
They did that actually for the teaser to the Dawn of the Dead remake when that was in theaters. Like it was like the teaser trailer, but then at the end of it, like it's like the film breaks and you see like all these zombies like up against the screen. Ooh. Yeah, check out that teaser. I'm sure it's on YouTube.
The Predator had a really cool setup this year, which brings me to my favorite toy.
The Predator had a
because they're re-releasing the original Predator in 3D.
Yep.
On Blu-ray 3D.
Yep.
I'm stoked.
And but my favorite toy, by far my favorite toy, I like Jason, but I didn't buy that one. But the one that I seriously debated if I'd had like $150 was they have this Predator action figure, and you can get your face scanned, and then it is holding your head.
Oh wow,
that is pretty cool.
Yeah, and Dave kept trying to convince me. He was like, "Come on, Becca, it's like a wedding present. We'll both have our heads ripped off by the Predators." And I was like, "I can't do it."
That is pretty cool.
But if you went over to the Wired Cafe, which is like this little press oasis where they give you free booze, they also had the same thing set up with Star Trek figures where they would scan your face and make you a Star Trek figure. So that was equally awesome.
Oh, that's cool.
But I didn't spend any money this round. I bought a couple of Eerie comics, and that's all I did.
Nice.
So.
You did well. Do we know who our guest is next week, or are we going to hold back?
We're going to hold back.
Okay.
I have a few guests, but I don't know what day we're recording this from now on. So
yeah.
That's the...
All right.
We have a lot in the works, so we got to nail down our own schedules first.
Yeah, well, this is our comeback.
Our comeback.
We're ready to kick on with some great stuff.
Yeah.
I've really missed you guys.
You guys too.
And we've missed you. And watch us on Geek Nation.
Watch us.
Watch us.
Well, you can listen.
Listen.
Watch the photo of us while you listen.
Just stare. Just
What
stare
show am I on now?
longingly.
I'm like the stepfather. What show am I on now? Who am I today?
So yeah, I was totally excited to be on iTunes. And while you're there listening to our fantastic shows on iTunes, be sure to give us some reviews. We've already got some great ones up. Thank you to everyone who has done that.
Yeah. It makes a big
5 stars
difference
across the board.
when you rate and review us, both on iTunes and on Geek Nation. But yeah, there were a bunch of people I didn't know who they were. And I'm like, oh, wow, they like us.
Yeah, it was kind of a good week for that. So
yeah.
It's been good.
And let us know what you think of the Comic-Con episode that we weren't on. You don't have to review that probably as nicely.
You know what? I will say I got more retweets for that episode than any other one, and I'm like, hey, what are y'all trying to say?
Oh, it's because of the words Comic-Con.
It's got Comic-Con in it.
Whatever.
And that guy's 25. He has all these friends on Twitter. It's
Honestly,
the kids.
They spent most of the time trying to convince me why My Soul to Keep was a good movie.
Yeah, see, now
'Cause I
don't
was
even
with
listen to that
Sam
episode.
and Brian Collins, who think that it's like, it's pretty much like their Citizen
There's
Kane.
some movies that are actually, to me, undefendable, and that's one of them.
That's one of
Like,
them.
honestly,
You
undefendable. Like, I
cannot
don't
say
even know where
anything
you would
good about
start.
it.
Like, how could anyone think that tweeny
But
film?
The only
We
way I
did
would
say-
watch it again is if they released a 3D version, because they converted it to 3D at the very last
yes,
minute.
they did. Yeah,
But they
that was
never-
like their Liberty play.
Yeah,
We've got
but
to come up with something.
They never put out a 3D version. If they did, I would buy it and rewatch it that way.
Yeah. So, but the way it came up is we were staring at all these people in the different costumes at Comic-Con, and one of us was like, wouldn't it be cool if somebody came as the Condor? And then Sam said that he wanted to get Fang Time knuckle tattooed. And then it opened all the doors, and they spent the whole time telling me why it was a brilliant movie.
That film's so bad that I didn't get any of the references she just said. Not one. Like, I was just looking at her like she was on moonshine.
I'm doling out 7 and 8s on your arm right now.
All right. Either way, it's crap. But we love you, Wes Craven.
Turn up the prayer conditioning.
Oh, yeah, it's so bad. Just like,
Nicely done, Rob.
was it written by the girl from Juno? Because that's what it sounds like, right?
See, I think, Rebekah, you didn't like it, but I think you kind of do, because you're laughing and quoting right now.
I think it's got... It makes
think
me
it
giggle
transcends.
because I think that is it. Is that it does sound like it was written by Diablo Cody, but it wasn't. It was written by Wes Craven. So it's like this 70-year-old man trying to be hip, and what it comes out as is just kind of laughable. It's like having your parents explain to you how the internet works.
No, it's like Better Off Dead, the dad. Everything he says in Better Off Dead, he's like, don't push me too far over the edge or whatever. Everything he's got,
Pulling me over, man.
Yeah, you're pulling me over, man. Yeah.
For me, like Law and Order does this, where it seriously is like, when they do shows on like what Craigslist stalkers are like,
right.
it's just, it gets
Pull
so,
from the news.
Yeah, it gets so hilariously into, how your grandparents see the internet and how, everyone is
The
stalking
baggy
you
pants
online.
murder.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's how it seems to me, is this is how teens talk and this is what is relevant to teens. But it comes off as very funny. Can I take it seriously as like a true horror film? No, hell no. But
So then can we take Sam Zimmerman and Brian Collins seriously as hard journalists by the fact that they like it? I'm just opening up this can of worms. Can we?
I think so. I think that we all have our moments of horrible taste.
I don't.
Yes. I share in their love of Book of Shadows, Blair Witch too.
I do. I think that's actually a good film. And it's not in like an ironic way. I think that's actually a smart sequel.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah, because I mean, like, how do you even build off the way that the first one set it up?
The original Blair Witch.
Yeah, me too.
I'd be interested to see it again, but I saw it in theaters and remember just going like, what was that?
See, I mean, because
Joe Berlinger, right? From the documentary Paradise Lost directed it.
if you have been taxed with the idea of coming up with a sequel to Blair Witch, well, one, that's impossible because like everybody's dead and the whole, the footage is found and all this stuff. Like the concept does not carry over into a sequel. So I think that the way that he set it up with having it be fan based and very meta, I think it was very smart.
I dig it. It's like an actual narrative. I always liked it because at least you saw something happen in it.
Yep.
As opposed to the first movie. So,
I got to get a new podcast. Joe Lynch and Adam Green need a third?
Come
on. And I'm sure they have more listeners than us.
Why, you want to do 3-hour shows? Come on.
Exactly.
That's true.
Exactly.
And if I want to keep interjecting, I'll have to keep this show. Otherwise,
you're going to have to make them watch Possession and Society ahead of time.
Yes, good.
Elric, you're coming over. We're doing a Blair Witch double feature.
All right.
I own it.
But I'm still, my son, remember.
I bet you do too, right?
Yes, I do.
Wait. Before we go, when are those 3 Amityville films coming out?
Is that October 1st?
Oh, that's so far
do
away.
I even have that on the list?
Because I want to start my marathon.
Yeah, and I heard
no, I don't have that one on the list yet.
Cliff McMillan had said that they are like super stoked with the 3D transfer that they were able to pull off from Amityville 3D.
Nice.
So I should have my 3D setup by then.
this Sunday night.
That is October 1st, the Amityville trilogy.
And our 60 millimeter film this Sunday night, we'll be playing it as a superhero film, very Geek Nation based, something that Geek Nation would probably love themselves. It's one of the first superhero movies from the 60s. I can't tell you any more than that.
I got to guess, but I'm not going to say.
You know, there's some name reference to one of the hosts on here. If you can work that out, that would be Mike wouldn't like me giving my own clues, but there's some tie-in to one of our last names, and that's all I'm giving you, but it's going to be awesome. A lot of fun this Sunday.
McKendry is awesome.
Yeah,
I knew it.
Exactly.
I knew it.
I'll tell them as soon as it goes. But yeah, so let's do this again next week or something.
Well, I do
Sure.
actually.
Oh,
I have one thing that I'm really excited about that I will close with. I have scored a copy of the rather hard to find uncut Perdita Durango.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I like that one.
So it's on its way to my house
what?
right now. Uncut. And
That's why I saw in New Zealand. That's great.
Race
it's really
with the
brutal.
Devil.
Oh.
It's by the guy
Race
who
with the Devil? But that's
that's
the
what
Ride
they
with
renamed it.
Oh, okay.
So, but it's the guy who directed Day of the Beast and
Spanish
Circus.
director?
Yeah. Okay.
Alex de
It's
Iglesias.
famous for another bad haircut for
Rosie Perez.
No, what's his name? It's the best performance of his career, even better than No Country for Old Men. Javier Bardem.
Oh, yeah.
As this crazy rapist, violent. I mean, he's scary as hell. One of the scariest screen roles I've seen. And he's
Wow.
just out of control
Yeah.
in the film.
What's it called again?
Perdita Durango.
Perdita Durango. And it was one of his first films, and it's never been released in the U.S. It did, or I should restate that. It did a ridiculously limited release, but it was highly cut. They cut like a half an hour out of it.
Wow.
So I just was able to procure an uncut international version, and it is headed my way.
It's written by, it's based on a book by Barry Gifford, and Barry Gifford co-wrote Lost Highway and Wild at Heart with Lynch. So he's very much into like noir and stuff like that. It's really cool. It's a really good movie.
It's like I'll call it, it's like the Odyssey with a lot of magic and sex.
Yeah, it's violent. It's a
Yeah,
crazy
it's
movie.
really violent. So
that'll be fun.
yeah, you guys want to come over this weekend and watch it?
I want Larry Fessenden beneath.
Okay, let's watch that instead. I'm great with that.
You know what? And let me close this off with one more plug. Hyena Gallery. Have you guys been there yet in Burbank?
I love that place.
Haven't
It
been.
makes me wish I had money.
Yeah, my buddy Bill Schaefer owns Hyena Gallery in Burbank, and this month, all through July, they did a tribute to Guillermo del Toro. So
Really?
there's,
There's
Wow.
cards at Jump Cut for
it's
that. I
all
didn't-
original artists that did stuff inspired by all his movies.
Nice.
You know, it was meant to coincide with Pacific Rim, which unfortunately didn't do nearly as good as it should have.
Did you
Shame
guys
on
see it?
I did. And here's
I
the thing.
haven't seen it.
I honestly, I went in with a bar very low because I'm being completely honest. Like, I don't really care about giant robots or monsters.
Right.
But I went on a Saturday. I have my Saturday tradition with my roommate to go see a new movie. And it is so good.
Really?
Cool.
Like, it is
Yeah, I'm gonna see it for sure,
It is the
100%.
epitome of what a summer movie should be.
Right.
And it's not, unlike the Transformers movies, it's not tarted. Like,
Right.
I like that.
yeah, it's not tarted. Actually, it was very
Are
smart.
you saying
and
tarted or tarted?
tarted, as in retarded.
Okay.
It's an idiocracy reference.
I know. I was, but
Okay.
it could be all tarted up. So I was like, which way is he going with this?
No, but it's
I'm planning to
it's,
see it this weekend.
It's excellent. It's a lot of fun. I mean, a lot of fun, and it's exactly. I haven't been reminded of a summer blockbuster type that didn't make me feel like angry or like an idiot in a long time. You
That's
know, it's
great.
like,
That's a good plug.
This is what the Transformers movie should have been, quite frankly. So,
But it does raise a question why you weren't at The Conjuring.
He was sick that night.
No, I mean, if you were seeing Pacific Rim.
that
how
was
come-
last weekend.
Oh, okay, there was time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Conjuring came out
All right.
this weekend.
Yeah.
That just passed.
All right,
while we were
smart
at
ass.
Comic-Con.
I thought this podcast ended
How?
like 5 minutes ago. I'm so bitter. Why don't we
with
talk
you.
about Comic-Con experiences again?
Right.
Okay, I'm going to see Pacific Rim by next week, and you see Conjuring by next week, and
I will.
We'll discuss.
I will.
Yeah.
We'll further this.
There we
discussion.
go.
I will see both.
Yeah. And
Do it.
All right.
Later, Gators.
Yeah. Thanks for listening. Talk to you soon.